Hello! So I'm on for the stream. Obviously, I think I'm like a minute early, but that doesn't matter. Now, the reason I've got an S10 on, I had an S10 for the profile picture, is if you look below at the Teespring stuff, it might not show up on the bar there yet, but on the Teespring things, Bart finally got round to doing the S10 and it looks quite good. So I've put it on a t-shirt, a hoodie, a mug, and Samsung and Apple cases, I think, so far. I'll get round to putting it on more merch soon, but you have to I generally manually put it on each thing so it looks to the right size. If you let Teespring automatically do it for most products, it won't look like a good size, so I like to manually put them on and make it look good on each thing. So yeah, it looks like there's already a load of people on. I can't actually really see with these outserts on how many likes there are at the top. I think it says 16, but I can't see. Yeah, don't forget to like the stream because it does seem to help YouTube share it. And hopefully YouTube's using the right microphones. It is, okay. Which way Mad is cool? Newest as in, let's actually just see everything in proper colours. Newest masks as in the newest one from production date or the newest one I've bought, most recent one I've bought? Evening, Rich. Yeah, if you look on the Teespring thing, Mike, it should show up on there. Let me just check, but it should be on there. I've obviously done the designs, but I know it says it can take 2 days for some of them to show up. I'll just see if I can link to the mug or something, for example, just to hopefully prove it's on there. Yeah, at the moment, it's just put them right at the bottom, but for example, all right, cheers, Laser. All right, thank you. Yeah, if I click View in Store, oh, I don't want to do that. That's the admin view. Here we go. Right, there you go. That link should hopefully work. Just try it and see if it does. Let me know because it might just be like a logged in view. But there you go. There's the S10 picture he did. So you can look at that and look at the mask on my face at the moment and see if it's an accurate drawing or not. All right, cool. Let me search that now. So Bao Feng, right? If that's pronounced right. That's all right, Sam. Don't worry. You can't always catch all of them, can you? And I don't always announce too well what time I'm doing them. Oh yes, it's only like 20 odd quid. That's pretty good, isn't it? Let's have a look at the one on Amazon. 128 channels, dual band display, keypad lock. Yeah, it looks pretty good actually. So can you use that to listen to stuff as well as actually? Depends what you get more use out of Great Outdoors. They do emit alpha, and I can demonstrate that to you, Lucas. Yeah, oh yeah, because that's the thing, Laser, isn't it? That if it's on ham, that you can get done for that, can't you? Oh, that's cool. So yeah, it'd be worth getting one, wouldn't it? Just so you can listen to stuff. Right, glad you enjoyed the videos, Cheese Boy. Oh, that's cool, Ricardio. Hope you like it. But yeah, there's the Mark V mug, but I'm going to order a GP5 one. If you're wondering what's in there today, that's schnapps. I've got alcohol in it, which is why it's only a third full. Well, I've done different masks, unless you mean what one am I wearing now. But yeah, did that link work for the merch? Just out of interest. Oh, that's good, Richard. We had loads of rain and wind today. Cheers. It's not completely correct, James. There's a couple of things on it if I wanted to go into more detail that make it look more like a real snork. But well, that's not a bad price, $50, especially if you're in the States or whatever. There's a GP5 there, yeah. Just there. Ah, good, the link worked. Oh, but Jenny says she can't. I'll put the link on again. All right, it's got the Balfong radio thing on. Hang on. There you go. Okay, so it depends on the frequency, does it then, Chris? Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to save that radio to a watch list, add to list, and I can remember to look into it properly at some point when I'm not on the stream. I'll put it on my shopping list. There we go. Let me see what's on the list, because I bet there's stuff I don't need anymore. Yeah, let me remove the tower, because I've got an old PC tower when I built this current PC. I still have the tower that I didn't get on there at that point. I think, really, rather than doing much with the knife laws, James, you'd actually have more police, the more, like, community outreach things for people who aren't in very good, like, financial situations. Because the thing is, if somebody wants to stab somebody there, they're going to do it. It's not going to really depend on what kind of knife they've got. Protect and Survive, the book one. No, this isn't an S6 filter at all. This is a American C2 filter, so yeah, I know chromium. Yeah, it's a US C2 filter. Whichever's the right way. Yeah, there you go. It says C2 there. If it focuses. I have no idea about stuff like that, Laser, but thank you again. You'd have to ask Chris or somebody who's actually into the radio stuff, because I really don't know much about UK radio laws, and it might depend on the country as well. All right, cool. I'll look into that again, Chris. Yeah, I'll have to try and remember to look into that yesterday. That sounds quite good. Basically, James, if it's a vapor filter, you'll start smelling things through the filter. So let me give you an example. Let's get the banana oil. Well, in theory, you can already carry a knife. You're just not allowed to carry it for the purposes of self-defense. But so at the moment, there's no smell coming through the filter. So I know the filter's working and the mask's working. However, if you start getting odors coming through the filter, it means that the vapor filter's running out. What mask did you get? I've got a couple of masks coming. I bought another mask today. I think it was called the Climax something or other. It's like a panoramic full face one that seems pretty similar to the Spaziani, but there was some on, I think it was either Amazon or eBay, for about 30 odd quid. That's cool. Is it like one of the Survive to Fight ones, Sam? Because I know that was one series of them they did. Israeli M15 or Israeli 4A1. Both are fine, though. Depends which one, Lucas. Some I do, some I don't. Oh, cheers very much again, later. Yeah, it would definitely be worth doing, wouldn't it? But that's the thing, I really don't know, to be honest.
It's a bit uncomfortable if I leave it like that, to be fair. Yeah, because, to be honest, $150 or pounds, if that's that, for an SS Stauhound probably isn't too expensive as far as German World War II gear goes, but yeah, Nazi stuff is always like more expensive than every other single thing from World War II, pretty much. It could do, Zach. It really depends how, like you said, if it's got to have the caps on, it might be all right, but filters do degrade over time. But obviously, it depends when it was meant to expire and everything else. And The thing I was wondering as well earlier, I thought about this when I was watching your video, Chris, on the Avon filter, because you said in that video that it like they put on what temperature and pressure it was stored at and all that sort of stuff. I was wondering, do filters potentially go off depending on even if they're sealed, like the ambient heat and humidity, would that affect them? Or would it not be able to get in if the filter's sealed properly? I mean, heat would affect it, I'm sure, but filters probably have a very wide range of heats they can work in. But I know recently a load of my medication where we've had like a mini heat wave and my room was getting to 35°C at various points. Some of my medication stopped working properly because obviously the medication got too hot and it destroyed whatever was in the medication. What's the 12th? Let me check what day that is. The 12th is Monday. Monday next week. Yes, I will. It's generally only Saturdays I tend not to do a stream, just because on Saturdays I'm at work. And then Sunday, although I'm working as well, I don't have to get up early on Monday, so I then do a stream Sunday evening. I'll probably be out this Friday, but I might be able to do a stream early in the day, as in like midday, 1 p.m. sort of time. Because on Friday night, I've been invited to a work social thing because somebody who's worked at our place for a while was leaving. So they're having like a leaving do for the person. So I quite want to go to that. But I haven't found out the address yet. That's the only thing, because it's at somebody's house. And they said there's a lot of parking. And they said they were going to give me their address so I could drive down and drive a few other people down. And then they forgot. So I'm going to have to see if I can find a person on Facebook and get their address from them. All right, let me have a look at the new display as well. Yeah, I'm sure, though, that filters, Chris, probably... Yeah, looks very good, Mike. Yeah, nice, well done. Looks very good. Will look great on the stream, won't it, when you've got that one and the other board on display. But yeah, I'm sure filters are better than medication. That, like some of my medication isn't meant to be stored over 30°C, but I imagine it must be a factor if you're in certain places. I could see it potentially happening if it's stored in a car, maybe, and you had like the sun bearing down on the car all day and you've got a filter in the boot, or like in the glove box or something. I wonder if that would shorten the lifespan of the filter. What do you mean by a mystery box video, as in what's in the box? I'd know what's in the box, wouldn't I, if I'd put it in there? 130 something, I think, some guy YouTube, I really don't know at this point. At one point I used to keep a really good kind of document where I'd put the nation and the mask and then the year of the mask if it was visible on the mask on. But then when I had to reformat my hard drive because Windows 10 fucked my PC, I lost the file, unfortunately, because I was too stupid to back it up. In theory, I could do one of those again, but it's a bit of a ball ache now. I've got so many masks, and I have to remember where some of the masks are to dig them out. I can try to, Zach. I mean, that's one of those videos people keep requesting, so I'll get around to it at some point. Oh, I've not even heard of those. Do they even sell those in the UK? It's just with the UK knife thing at the moment, if there was a knife mystery box, that might get the politicians quite upset. I was going to say something then, like about Rich said. Yeah, because I know with Scott filters, a lot of the Scott Pro filters are just stored in literally like an empty plastic bag kind of thing. Like it's a vacuum sealed plastic bag, where other brands of filters are in like foil or another material. So yeah, foil would certainly be better for that, wouldn't it, than the cheap plastic ones. I really don't see why pepper spray is illegal, to be honest, because it is mostly a self-defense tool, isn't it? Less lethal. Yeah, somebody could have a reaction to it, which could potentially be fatal, I guess, but I think having things like pepper spray available as less lethal options is a lot better than people then just carrying weapons because, Well, a lot of Soviet helmets are very cheap, James, just they're mass-produced. What did you say, Laser? If it didn't work, try posting a few words at a time. The last one I saw was your donation, so thanks again to that, what you were saying about the radios, but I didn't see one after that. Well, my parents and other people in the house don't care about my collection because they know obviously I do it like as a hobby and it makes me money and all stuff like that. So, they encourage it for that reason, but I'm sure they'd rather I had less masks than the amount I did just because of the amount of random space I use up in the house. It's possible that the adhesives and materials in filter. Yeah, I suppose you're right. If things like the particulate filters like glued against the vapor filter, something like that could fall out, couldn't it? Or yeah, like the glue could melt and then get stuck in the filter. That's a very good point. I've already got a job, mate, so I don't need to try a temping agency. I know people that have done temping stuff. Some people really like that. It depends on what you want to do, though, because some people like the idea of, you know, a couple of days a week working in different places. But again, I wouldn't like that, because I'd hate having to learn how they did things in a particular job. Then, like, a few days later, I have to learn it all over again. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, Chris, actually, to be honest, because I think some of those things would be very good, wouldn't they, for preserving stuff. That might actually even be good for some of the medications I'm on. I bet with some of the medication I've got, if I did a vacuum sealed thing like that, I bet it would last longer than regular expiry dates. So that's a good idea, actually. I might have to look into one of them. If you mean Laser Points Productions, Jenny, it's because he's super chatted me and given me donations, so I always appreciate him doing that. That's one of the things I originally wanted to do, SRS, but sadly, it was one of those things where, you know, just massively oversupply of people working in it compared to the amount of jobs going. Also, there's a different sign now. I've had that sign for ages. It's just never been in my room, so I might try and put it up when I put up that other sign somewhere on the wall. I suppose really that ought to go on the toilet, shouldn't it? Toxic dump. Let me search that, Sam. Tell you what, let me put my glasses on just so I can see where I'm clicking on the chat a bit better. Is it just a lot stronger? I saw the one you had, Chris, earlier. It was a quite hard job to cut into it, wasn't it? Which is obviously a good thing for sealed packaging. So I've had some things that just rip apart really easily. Oh yeah, somebody was on about those the other day. They're really cool looking, aren't they? I guess you're meant to wear a gas mask under it, aren't you? Or like a rebreather under it. But yeah, it's quite a cool looking thing. Don't worry, I'm a bit of an ass. That's interesting. So can you just buy Mylar bags online? Let me have a look. That's interesting, you know. Mylar bags. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, you can get Mylar full bags. Yeah. I like how lots of these are obviously being sold to people to put weed in, because some even have like weed logos on them and stuff like that. But yeah, interesting. Which one, Veronica? Yeah, we used to sell food vacuum sealer things when I used to work at Argos, but I just, you know, I never was interested in getting one, but it does sound an interesting thing. Well, like people were saying, Links, the more you do for it, the better it's going to last over time. But again, it depends on how the filter's sealed, because some filters are going to be sealed well enough that you don't really need to bother with that stuff. Yeah, if it's a light anti-gas respirator Mark 1 for like the £30 sort of mark or less, definitely. Yeah, the thing is, though, with IT is, I don't know if I'd actually enjoy doing that as a job now, to be honest, just because I like kind of doing blue-collar stuff, but... Yeah, gas masks, yes. Okay, Magic Slime. I don't actually remember you saying that. You might have done to me, but that's actually a really good idea. But yeah. I can be a bit forgetful with stuff like that, to be honest, Laser. Somebody can say something like that to me, I can think, wow, that's a good idea. And then like 10 minutes later, I've completely fucking forgotten what they've said. Ah, that's very interesting, Richard. Thanks for that. I've got a few bits of body armour, Zach. I've got that French right armour behind me there. I've got a British old flak jacket from Northern Ireland. I've got a police Kevlar one. That's the most practical one I've got. And I've got a British Mark IV Osprey armour jacket. If you mean what's my favourite gas masks, Avon CT12 is my favourite, although the Italian Spaziani TR2002 is almost overtaking it now for me. Favourite Soviet master, Shum's SHMS. You know, like the optical one. Yeah, they're quite expensive though, aren't they, Sam? Because I looked at some of them and they were several grand. But yeah, like the MiG-31 flight suits are really cool. Also, there's a video I watched earlier I really enjoyed. I don't know if it will be for everybody, but I'm going to recommend it because it's one of those videos where I'm really annoyed that the guy who made it only has like 30k subs. Because he obviously puts a hell of a lot of work into his videos. It's not really suitable for children. I'll put it that way. The video, I'll post a link to it. Let me just get the link up for it. Shed 17 it was called. I'd never seen this until today, but I ended up really liking it because they used music from both Dune and Trinity and Beyond in it. So it's a Thomas the Tank Engine sort of parody thing. There you go. There you go. But yeah, it has Castle Bravo when Gordon explodes and like his face sort of gets destroyed. That's cool. What's the difference between the EOD one, like the old flak jackets? Is that the one where you can put the plates in the EOD? CT12 doesn't have the drinking tube. Yeah, I watched the... yeah, watch it after the stream before you do your stream, Mike, because you have time, because it's a 40-minute video or something, isn't it? 36 minutes. So yeah, I think if you like David Firth stuff, it's like that. It's like a very weird, disturbing thing about the real story behind Thomas the Tank Engine. Obviously, it's not real, but it's like, you know, a fake docudrama kind of thing. On thing. Yeah, CT12 doesn't have the drinking tube. That's the primary difference between it and the FM12. There's a couple of things which might be minor differences, or it might be down to specific masks. I'm not sure. But yeah, Project G1 or whatever the other one was called, the sequel to that, I watched that. Apparently, though, the other one he did's been taken down, the Christmas special one. And I watched the old Bertha one as well he did before that, about the machine that like grinds people up. That was quite interesting. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't even know about that one, Zach. But yeah, if it's hard to find, then I suppose £90 is not too bad for it. But again, it depends how rare it actually is. But supposedly that like Northern Ireland flak jacket I've got now is worth a lot more. Just because when I got them, they were like getting sold. This was in 2011. They were getting sold for around £40 each. They were very easy to get and essentially as new condition. But now I think they've gone up quite a lot from what I understand. No, I can't draw for shit, but Bart, who draws my merch, can draw. And if you look at the Teespring stuff below, you can see a lot of his designs on there. Not at the moment, J2F, but that might be changing quite soon. I'm on about... yeah, but the thing is, if a seller says something's rare, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. It just might be them trying to sell it to you. S10 mask or an S10 mug or whatever. The S10 mugs are on my Teespring. If you mean an S10 mask, eBay, a few other surplus sites have them. If you're in the UK, they're a lot easier to find because they're on eBay and there's quite a lot of UK-based surplus websites that have them. If you're outside of the UK, it might be a bit harder. Yeah. I don't think they really think that, Sam. I think they're hoping you'll think that and spend more money on them. As they say, a fool and his money are easily parted. No, I've not sold any of my masks. I wouldn't be opposed to selling some of my duplicates, but I've just never had to. I've given some masks away for free to people before, but yeah, it's because the smallest size S10 still has the same lens size, doesn't it? So these bits on it are the exact same size. It's just the rest of the mask around it's really small. I think this cover's the same size as well. So you've got almost the mouth bit, the two eye bits, and then almost no mask around it. I think that's why the small S10s look funny. Right, see if you're off, Martin. In the UK, they're normally £30 to £60, depending on who's selling it, the condition, if they're putting it with a bag and everything else. But my S10's not squashed, unless you mean the smallest size S10, but this one's stored in its proper bag. What, salad fingers, you mean? I like rusty spoons. I've seen all the salad fingers and burnt face mans, and Jerry Jackson's my favourite David Firth thing, although a lot of people don't like the Jerry Jackson ones. Alright, cool. Can you post them in the Discord? You can post them on the chat as well if it lets you, Laser. But if not, post them in the Discord as well, and then I'll try and remember to bookmark them. Alright, check Discord later. Thanks. Cheers. Not really. I'm a bit of an arse. The easiest way you could send it to me if you wanted to is to put it on somewhere like Imager and then just put a link in on a random video. It won't work on streams, but you can do that on normal videos. Hubert Cumberdale, back from the war. But yeah, this S10, not with this particular filter, not with the red outserts and everything, but the S10 itself, the mask and the satchel, I got the haversack. I got for, I think it was either £10 or £15 because it was at a car boot sale. And this is actually a 2009 S10. So it's a fairly recent one in terms of S10s. But yeah, you know, like £10 or £15 for this, whatever it was. That was a bargain, to be honest. What, the toxic dump one? I've had that for years. I've just never thought to put it in this room, so I have to put it up at some point. Sadly, red S10 outserts in general are like £30 for the official Avon ones. I think if you buy some people of 3D printed, you might get them as low as £10, but I generally think they're more. Oh, that's cool. I mean, I won't buy another one just because I've already got two S10s, an FM12 and a CT12. But if other people wanted to bid on it and buy it, you know, they're very welcome. But the only thing is now lots of people might bid on it and drive the price up massively. What do you mean, the S10 haversack kind of things? S10 definitely, Lucas. My GP9 doesn't even work. It has a broken voice diaphragm. But if you ask me about some other panoramic masks, I'd probably pick them over an S10. Yeah, I've got quite a few NBC suits. Search NBC suit on my channel, JTF2, and you can see a few different videos on different ones. Around the £30 mark, Moad, but again, it depends on the seller. But you can get them for £30 or less if you know, you look for long enough. No, not as far as I'm aware, Sam. You get some masks with polycarbonate lenses, which again are pretty tough, but there's not like a bulletproof or armored mask. I think, I mean, obviously the best design principle is it has to work to begin with, because a gas mask that doesn't work is useless. But I think a lot of the time it's comfort, because the longer you're obviously, if you want a mask on your face for quite a while, it needs to be comfortable. And there's lots of masks I've got where if I'm wearing them for a while, you start realizing just how uncomfortable they can be. So I'd say for me, one of the most important factors is comfort. You know, something that's a comfortable rubber to be on the face, a comfortable strap system that doesn't put too much pressure on the head. Yeah, anti-fog things and all that are all important as well. But I think for me, it personally has to be comfort of how, wow, the mask, you know, makes a snug fit to my face. And you can't really feel it weighing down on you. Let me Google, well, not Google, let me go on eBay and type in USSR prototype mask and see what comes up. I'm not an expert on every single Russian mask. There's some that people have modified. I can see here that Yeah, most of the ones I can see are ones that look like people have modified existing masks rather than real prototypes. But again, you might be seeing a different result than I'm seeing. I can see one that's $350, which is a USSR. Looks like a PMK1, but I don't think it's the cheek filter, because the prototype PMK actually had a cheek filter, didn't it? This to me looks, and I could be wrong because I'm only seeing a few pictures here, but to me it looks more like somebody's just stuck a couple of different parts from other masks on a PMK, which wouldn't be too hard to do. In case of a gas attack, I would wear the butyl mask with a 60 to 40mm converter on it. Or is that cheating saying that? But I wouldn't want silicon in case of a proper gas attack, because obviously if mustard gas or lewisite is used, it can eat through the silicon pretty quickly. Especially with the drinking tube system, you want something that's not going to poke you in the face, don't you? Because I found a lot of master drinking tubes have ones that you can never fully retract, so they're always kind of just annoyingly doing that. All right, Orion. There's hoodies on my merch below, JTF2, if that's what you're saying. There's a S10 hoodie, a GSR hoodie, as in this design but on a hoodie, Mark 5 GSR. There's a GP5 hoodie. I've not got an XM40, and obviously not being in America, they're often a lot more expensive than buying elsewhere. I mean, buying in America, but the XM40 I think looks very cool, but yeah, silicon is very good for industrial uses if you know what gases it's going to be used against, because silicon's comfortable and everything. Yeah, it does sound annoying. Actually, before this stream, Chris, I pulled this out of my S10 and I'll put it back in after the stream, just because it was, even though I've cut this down to size, it was just poking me in the face and it was annoying me. So yeah, I'm going to have to cut this. The thing is, I don't think I need to cut it down more. I think it's just the annoying thing of, you know, it's not a perfect drinking tube, really. Yeah. Not according to US Customs, it's not. Oh, sorry, you're saying it's illegal. Yes, you're correct. I thought you were saying it's 100% perfectly legal. Well, when you say a biological dirty bomb, a dirty bomb is technically like a nuclear bomb that spits out a load of fallout, isn't it? But I suppose if you're just saying a bomb that chucks a load of stuff, it depends what the biological bomb is, doesn't it? If it was something like the common cold or flu, then that. If it was, I don't know, something really, really horrible, you could survive lewisite potentially, but lewisite is a really nasty thing, because lewisite can kill you through kidney failure and things like that, even if you survive the initial attack, because of what it does to the body. Yeah, the thing is, the M17 drinking tube, I think, is actually better than the M40's one. Because the M17 has that drinking tube thing where you can actually, like, almost completely retract it from the mouth. Yeah, exactly, right. I think it was because it was a law made during the Cold War to stop people selling military technology to other nations, essentially. But it's one of those laws that's never been gotten rid of. Yeah. Here comes the cow. Right, bidding for stuff on eBay, right? Here's what I do if I remember, but your thing about setting an alarm the other day was very good, Laser, and thanks again for the donation. What I do on eBay is, and this is if I remember everything, right, is if I spot an item I want to bid on, what I generally do is either put a very low bid on initially or add it to my watch list. Then, like you said, set an alarm on your phone for like a minute or two before the listing ends on the day it's going to end, so you can be around. And then what I do is I wait till there's less than a minute and then put my maximum bid in. That way, you know, even if somebody else has put a higher auto bid in, unless they put a higher auto bid in than the very max bid you put in, It means, let's say, the other person's highest auto bid was like £20 or something. You put £50 on in the last minute. The other person would have to notice that you've gone higher in their auto bid, go on, and then quickly try and work out what your highest bid was and put an even higher bid on in not much time. So I know that you can get scripts and things that do it that's called bid sniping, and I wouldn't do that because that seems like a dick move to me, using a computer program to bid like automatically at the last second. But yeah, I always just try and bid as much as possible near the end of the time running out on an item. So I found sometimes when I've put bids in earlier on, it seems to almost drive more interest to the item, and then more people go and bid. And then it can escalate crazily. I mean, some things people are going to bid massive amounts on near the end anyway. But yeah, I mean, I've bid on things before. Sometimes I've put a low bid on, like with a week to go, and nobody's even bid higher. And then at other times, yeah, I've done the annoying thing if I forgot to remind myself it's ending, and I've put on the watch list or whatever, and then I forget to put a bid on, and it goes for a really low price. I'm like, for fuck's sake, I could have had something for a £5 then. Worst canister filter mask, as in just like a 40mm style mask or whatever. Out of the ones I've got, the Hungarian M76. But it depend on the mask according to the person, because it depends how well certain masks fit you. There's gas mask graveyards in the UK as well. There's one near Plymouth where the government dumped all the asbestos red filters. So there's charcoal and asbestos leaking out everywhere. But of course, if the government dumps it, it's okay. Oh, good. Yeah, the SOXO1M's good, isn't it? What, streaming tonight, Links? I've been streaming 36 minutes so far, so I'll go for probably another 30 minutes at least. That's cool, Peach. I've never really had nachos all that much, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, generally, the only times I've bought sort of rare masks and got them for a decent price, other than when I got the XM28 for £100, because other people obviously were bidding on that, is just generally when I've spotted masks that are kind of rare ones, but people don't know what they actually are. So they just list it as gas mask, or like World War II gas mask, or something like that. Old gas mask, you know, random mask, something like that. And then you're like, oh, it's that mask, and then you put a bid on, but other people don't find it, because if you search keywords, you never find it. I'm not sure what you're asking of that person whose name I can't pronounce. As in, are you asking, can I check your channel out? You can say what the name of the channel is, and that's fine, but I'm not necessarily going to end up watching videos from loads of channels. Best gas mask in my favourite's the Avon CT12. It's definitely not the best gas mask in the world. It's just out of all the masks I own, I find it's a combination of one of the most comfortable for me. You know, works well with scopes and things like that. Well, if somebody wants to list an expensive mask as a GP5, I'd be perfectly willing to pay them GP5 prices for it. It's a real foul, but it's deactivated, so it will never shoot again, but it's got inert ammunition in it, and it's still, the physical shell of the gun exists. Yeah, the good masks, Richard, have the exhale valve near the chin, so they actually acts as a drainage port. Yeah, I remember the one about the Ucara stuff. How much do I have in all in terms of what? JTF2. As I said earlier, masks around 130 odd. I don't know. Deactivated guns, 5 different deactivated guns. Knives, fuck knows. Oh, absolute best modern day mask. Well, the thing is, I can only really comment on the masks I have. I mean, people have told me the Airboss C4 is very good. The airbosses at LBM is very good. The FM53 is very good. There's lots of like modern masks that are meant to be really good. But as I don't have them, I can't judge for myself how much I like them. So it's hard to say with those. What does the green cap do on it then? Sorry if I'm being ignorant, but is it something you need for charging a bit of it? Right, swords. If we go from proper swords, I'll ignore machetes from this and just do proper swords. I got the falchion 1, the arming sword there, that's 2, the saber 3, the katana 4, the rapier 5. So in terms of actual swords, 5. I'm going to give the person a timeout who's putting very random weird comments on. It's best not to spam random comments, but you've not been blocked, you've just been timed out for 5 minutes. Alright, okay, I see what you mean. Let me just Google that then. See, you've got what looks like an S10 on one of the thumbnails. Alright, so it's, yeah. Yeah, hopefully you don't need that then. It'd be a bit annoying if you, do an end. Is it quite expensive or just hard to track them down if you don't get them? Alright, yeah, so you have to play it by, I'd love a Canadian C4, but I don't have one. Eventually I might find one for sale that ships to the UK for a reasonable price, but I'm not holding my breath. Oh, this has been asked several times in the stream, Ryan. Even when you've been on, I'm probably around 130 something. Yeah, I've still got all my crossbows. It's just the wall behind me doesn't have the crossbows on it. But yeah, I've had people offer to send me them before, but as I said, I'd rather just buy it from somebody who's like a normal seller. Right, the most odd firearm. I've seen lots of things on Forgotten Weapons, which are really weird guns, but out of like mainstream firearms that I think look really weird, the SIG 510, also known as the Sturmgewehr 57, the Swiss kind of 7.62. Well, in Swiss use it was 7.92, wasn't it? But the old Swiss battle rifle, it looks really weird. Sturmgewehr 44 isn't a weird looking gun, and that's just like an early assault rifle. A gun I really wish I bought when you used to be able to get them deactivated easily was the Set Me Model L, because the Set Me Model L's used to be like in the £200 to £300 range deactivated, and that looks quite sci-fi. Piat launchers are interesting, aren't they? Because it does still use a bit of a rocket, doesn't it, in the Piat actual like shell thing, but it's just the spring is to do the initial launch bit of it, isn't it? How long have I been collecting? It depends how long you can be considered to be seriously collecting. I'd say around 2011, when I turned 18 and got a full-time job at the time, that was when I properly started collecting. But I'd got a few masks before then, just from like where I got money together, or people giving me money for birthdays and Christmas and that. Oh, I love the A10. The Ju-87 Stuka from World War II. In terms of modern aircraft, that's a much harder one. I quite like MiG-31s and MiG-25s, but I like quite a lot of World War II prop planes just because I sort of, there's something about the old propeller planes, isn't there, that makes them a bit more endearing, as much as jet planes are obviously a lot more functional and everything. Countryside, Maximus. I don't live too far from a city, but I live in the countryside. So sometimes the roads near me get really bad because people use them for commuting to the city and stuff like that. So that gets bad, but luckily I don't actually live in the city itself. Or Einsvein Jökull or something, wasn't it called? The Icelandic volcano. Well, I wasn't on holiday at the time that erupted, so it wasn't a problem for me. But yeah, I do know that caused a lot of travel chaos. Yeah, that's the main reason I like the Stuka, because of the Trumpet of Jericho siren on them. But only the B models had the siren, didn't they? But I also like Stukas because I like close air support planes. So things like the IL-2s, I also really like Typhoons. When I say Typhoons, I don't mean Eurofighter Typhoon. I mean the old like Typhoon Tornado, Hawker ones from the British ones. We have lots of potholes on our roads, Orion. But yeah, my roads are just bad for traffic, kind of thing. Not some of them are really bad for potholes, but yeah, Tempest was, I think, wasn't it, Sam? Didn't Italy actually have some quite good planes though during World War II, if I remember properly, Rich? I think some of them didn't have all the best armaments on them, but if I remember right, Italy did actually have some quite cool fighters. B-52 is definitely my favourite bomber. It's a close second? The Vulcan. A GP9 filter, as far as I'm aware, is the same as the GP7 filters, but they contain asbestos. The asbestos is in that bit of it. Also, if you want a pointless thing you could do with one of these old filters, just to show you, if you've got an old filter like this and you want to make some sort of use out of it, again, this isn't really a recommended thing, it's just something funny I thought about the other day. Let's say you were smoking or whatever, or vaping, and you wanted to blow the vapor somewhere. In theory, you can use a filter like this as like a vapor catcher. Yeah, so and most of the vapor all got caught in the filter. Now, just to demonstrate, otherwise. See, so yeah, the whereabouts in Russia are you from? I can't do smoke rings, but I'm just saying this is one of the interesting things I found. I don't know if it'll work the other way around. Let's try it. Yeah, seems to. So yeah. So yeah, when I give you a GP5 filter, then Mike, as much as I said their asbestos filters don't breathe through them, you can use them as a weed catcher or whatever if you wanted to do that. So it's just one of the pointless things you can do with these filters if you actually wanted to make a use out of them. I was thinking, with all the old asbestos filters I've got, there might be a way of using these almost like an exhaust fume catcher. Not for a car, but if you ever had anything that like smelled, you could probably hang one of the filters directly above it, and like would the fumes all go into the filter and get caught by the charcoal? I've got a room purifier, which is sort of good, but you know that's a thing that actually runs with a fan pulling air through the charcoal and HEPA filter all the time. It's just something like this. You know, it's quite interesting that you could probably get a filter, and if you were just literally using it above a certain thing, you know. Also, I wonder as well, if you had a car, as well as using an air freshener, could you leave an open filter somewhere in the car, and would that eventually slowly take the smell of stuff out the air in the car? I don't know. Would that work as well? Just an interesting thought, I thought. That's all right. Well, yeah, I have no idea. It is unintelligible. No worries, Mode. Oh, sorry. If you're saying if a volcano erupts, what you'd want is a combined particle and acidic gas filter. So acidic gas is E, as in, you know, like ABEC. E is acidic gas, so you want like E2 or something. P3, because obviously the particulate filter captures a lot of the dusts and stuff, and the acidic filter can deal with stuff like sulfur. Somebody was saying they really like the Ukrainian Czech anthems the other day. Was it you? As long as not carrying them around on you and waving them around, there's not really sword laws. Swords have to be made to a traditional method, so they have to be proper swords. Factories aren't allowed to churn out, like cheap stainless steel swords and sell them cheaply, because there was initially quite a lot of like sword crime, where drug gangs were using like wall hanger katanas to hack each other up with, which are really shit and break regardless. But then they actually did legislation that kind of backfired in a way, because they said, oh, for swords, you have to get a proper handmade sword. So then lots of companies actually were competing to sell handmade swords for good prices. So it meant if you like things like katanas or whatever, it ended up being a lot cheaper to get one. People from everything say this was the best thing of this war, this was the best thing of that war. It's always opinion-based. GP5M, because if you want to do that, you can wear the mask, and it's got a voice diaphragm, so you can speak with it on. Personally, I'm fine with my Dacia, to be honest. But I suppose what I do like though is where people get the vans and they have like the rough sleeping bit in the back. So they set the back of the van up to have like a camper bed kind of thing in it, and like supplies and that. I think that's a cool idea. I'm not going to put any more masks on at the moment. Oh, I was going to do that thing of the M65 before I forget. So where I was doing this thing, I want to see about this filter. So yeah, what Richard said, I think he's quoting the exact thing. What I wanted to see is, can I get this in there properly? Well, it fits in the cheek bit, all right, but whether or not it would actually work as a filter, I'm not sure, because it would need to be sort of connected, wouldn't it? Yeah, I like the Soviet anthem. I don't necessarily like what the Soviet Union did, but I do like the Soviet anthem. Actually, I wonder if I can put that cap on it. Let me just take this out again. So yeah, let's put the cap on. Let's try and squeeze it in again. I'll try and get it to go in this way, because then the hole is closer to the bit I would like the hole to be next to. Although that might be difficult, actually. It seemed to actually go in and work to a degree, unless you're asking somebody else, but yeah, I didn't actually breathe through it, but I should be able to do this. I'm probably missing things at the moment. Favorite deactivated firearm, either the SLR or my M1 carbine. But yeah, let me just try this again. Tell you what, just do that again so you can actually see what I'm at. It's probably less boring that way. I'm cutting my fingers a bit on the sharp edge of this filter. Oh, thank you very much, Links. You can have a Discord invite if you want, if you post your Discord ID. Right, I really like prog rock, as in like 70s prog rock. Favourite band, that's a hard one. My favourite album's Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds, but that's not really a band, is it? When I was younger, I quite liked Space, which was like a weird UK-based... It's hard to actually explain what Space were. But I did used to really like Space. Their songs were kind of like fucked up, kind of weird, music. Actually, let me try putting it round this way. I know that's back to front for the filter, but I reckon it might fit in quite well that way. No, I never really listened to hard bass in all honesty. But yeah, like metal, prog, soundtrack stuff I like. I can't get this bloody thing back in now, even though it went in fine the first time. I suppose it's because you really need somebody else helping you push it in. Yeah, I don't know if Vaseline's good for masks, Rich. There's that there, so that's going to sink down. I think the air will probably go around the filter like this, but best mask for a civilian. Any mask you can get the filters cheaply for. Probably a 40mm netting mask. Alright, good idea, Bing. Yeah, I won't do that right now, but yeah, good idea. Yeah, it's number 65 Chinese. Right, I can definitely smell that, so it's obviously going around the filter at the moment. I reckon it should be possible, though, to get the cover to clip on with this filter part way in, which I think would be quite good, but... Right, let's try and get the filter in again first. Right, so that's that in there. Now what I want to see if I can do is stretch the cheek filter bit around it a minute, which should definitely be possible. This might be a bit of work. All right, thank you, Mike. Yeah, I missed it when he posted it. But yeah, I'll add you as soon as the stream ends because Mike says he's tweeted it. Actually, I'll do it in a minute as soon as I finish playing around with this. Right, there we go. That's nearly where I want it now. Okay, so let's pop the cover back on. Right now, I should be able to get this to I need to pull this bit back a little bit more, but we're getting there. There we go. Oh, thank you, Sam. Right, let me add you and a couple of other people right now then, before I forget. And then we'll see if this is any good in a minute. Because as you can see, this has got the new filter in it. So let's have a look. I recognise that name, Weenpool. You're not already on the Discord, are you? Anyway, let me sort out the invites. Right, let me add Eon Links and the other one. Repost your name in the stream in a minute if I don't get a chance to add you before it disappears from the chat. As you did a super chat, it shouldn't. Right, add friend. Let's do Eon Links first. Right, success. Eon Links has been sent a friend's request. Now let me try the other one. It says success. Both of those have been added to my friends list. So as soon as you both accept them, I can then invite you to the server. Yeah, thanks, Mike. I saw it on Twitter, but cheers. What's weird, Sam, is I get a different picture for you when you posted the super chat than your normal picture. That's weird, but whatever. It's like a person's face for the super chat, but the other one's like, a bit like the RAF symbol or whatever. All right, cool. Right, let me invite you to the server. Good, you both accepted it. Right, let me both invite you. Thank you again for all the donations. I appreciate it. You can chat with like-minded people sort of on the server. Right. Instant invite. No, that's not the one I want, is it? It's the one where I want to go on friends list. Online. Or Weenpool. Invite to server. Weapons and stuff 93. That's you done. And where's the other one? Eon Links. There we go. Invite to server. Right, you're both invited. Thank you. Nah, with metal, I kind of just like prog rock and like Metallica kind of stuff. Motorhead. So like rock / metal kind of thing. Symphonic metal's alright. No, I've never had those. What's in them? Let me Google them. So they last like 5 years or something, do they? Was it like an MRE kind of thing? Oh yeah, they're just MREs. No, I've never had those, but yeah, I know what they are then if they're MREs. Right, anyway, let's go back to this. I'm trying to think, there's a song I like, and I can't remember if it's The Doors or somebody else. I'm trying to remember the bloody name of the song now. I can hear it in my head, but I can't think what the name of it is. Oh no, it's the Kinks I'm thinking of. There's No England Now by the Kinks. That's what I was thinking of. Do 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 do. Put that on the wrong way around, didn't I? But,
Yeah, they kind of copied not just Soviet designs, they kind of copied a lot of designs, to be fair. Right. Success! It works! Yeah, it works. Yeah, pressurizing.
Now, I bet there's a way, if I spent enough time and energy, I could make this a lot more comfortable than it currently is. But yeah, at the moment it works. Now, what I'd like to do is see if I can get that filter to go further into the cheek bit. Because at the moment, there's kind of just like a big dead space in there. Yeah, we know that this potentially works now, which is a good thing. So there's always that. Yeah, let's try that. So if I get this cover back on, and then we'll put this bit in, and we'll put this bit into the corner of it. So let's try that. So that's the corner where it connects to the mask there. I probably want to try and get it in this way first, because I want it to sit as tight as possible into that corner, so air can't get around it. It's easier said than done. But I always work up quite a sweat trying to shove this filter in. Gluing what back in? I don't think the old filter wasn't even glued in. It's just it was the proper shape for the cheek. Oh, when you said you broke a nut, I thought you meant like you busted a nut. Sorry, so I got the wrong impression from what you were saying there. What I need with a cheek filter, I reckon, is essentially somebody doing this for me, so I can get the filter in easily. Unless you can turn that inside out, then put the filter in like that. Let's try that. Let's pull the cheek filter cavity inside out, if that works. There we go. So there's the cavity of the mask. Right, now, can I, and I want it that way, don't I? Or do I? Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I want it that way. Can I keep that there? Then pull this back. Yeah, there we go. Isn't it? So let's just see if I can get him exactly in the position I want him in. Oh, that is exactly in the position I want it in. Good. Right. And that's actually made the cheek filter fold up properly. Let's get the straps all undone again.
Yeah, that's still there. Pressurizing, that's a good sign. Where's the strap for this bit? There he is. So, put the strap there, so. I can smell it ever so slightly around this way. Let me just try adjusting the filter position. Try it jammed in like that, but I bet that'll be worse. Yeah, it is. Okay. That's working.
It worked. So yeah, in this position now, it works. So what I'd have to probably try and find some way of doing is, although that does sit on that little lip there actually, so that does serve a purpose, but is to maybe using some wire or something. Wonder if I can get that other cover to so, I've got an idea. It does work now, which is a good thing. I'm just wondering now, can I get this, pop that in there, pop this in there, then I reckon, now this is like that, which I probably won't need this bit under the valve. If I put that there like that, yeah, that sits pretty flush, so I reckon now I can have that there, I can put the wire on, or a cable tie or something. Let's just try the original wire. Thinking what the best way of doing this is. People are free to dislike it if they want to dislike it, but I'm sure it's overwhelmingly being liked. To try and grip that bit there as I pull the other bit so the wire stays tight. The cable tie might actually work better for this, but yeah, I reckon I'm going to have to use a cable tie. Never said you did dislike. Let's pull that about halfway around. we put that through there, pull that like this. It's very slowly getting tighter. And I start wrapping it around. Yeah, I think that's working. It's not lifting out as easily now. Yeah, it's probably just YouTube takes a few days to update it properly, I guess. I've had a few things like that where I've changed things on accounts and they've not stayed on properly as I've changed them. Right. Let's see now. Tighten it. Yeah, that valve's in well, so that's not going to fall out. So let me just now pop that other bit around to the point where it... Oh, sorry to hear if your dog died. Sorry, I'm not looking at the chat very much, but that's a shame. But yeah, like Mike's saying, don't spam F because it's very disrespectful. Right, anyway, let me just try it like that and see, will it work properly now? Yeah, those Scott ones are designed to clip onto a specific type of Scott mask. But obviously, I don't have the Scott Pro 2, whatever it's called, which is the one it's meant to go on. Or do you mean the actual filter I've removed from this? The like metal mesh of it? That is weird, isn't it? It's like a cheek filter, but it's a metal mesh one, not a... Yeah, that's what I knew, Laser. Okay, yeah, because they say Scott Pro 2 on it, so I thought it would be a Pro Mask variant. Maybe I'll get a Pro Mask at some point just to test them, but there we go. Oh, I'm getting a slight smell through. So I reckon the filter is slightly off center. I can't smell it again, so it's working. Yeah, there we go. So that was completely pointless, but here is an M65 of the cheek filter replaced with a different filter, and it's now working. Again, I'd probably replace this wire with a cable tie, because what I need is something that holds this bit in exactly in the right place. Because obviously if that filter shifts around inside, then air can get around the filter. But there we go. But yeah, pretty interesting. As I said, I've been collecting stuff properly since I've been 18, so that would be like 9 years. Sorry, no, 7 years. 7 years. But I've been collecting stuff not as seriously before then as well. So, yeah. Anyway, I'll finish the stream here because I'm getting quite hot and I want to turn my aircon back on. Oh, Jubilee clip, do you mean, Bing? I didn't see your previous comment, but where you said clip for washing machines. They're called Jubilee clips. If that's what you mean. Yeah, Jubilee clip is like the metal band one that you tighten like that. Is that what you're on about? They're Jubilee clips, because I've done stuff under the sink with Jubilee clips before. Anyway, thank you for the 2 new donators, and thank you, as always, to Laserpoint for the very generous donations as usual. Yeah, that would work. Yeah, I'll look into getting a pack of different size Jubilee clips in at some point just to do that. But yeah, I'm quite pleased now I've got the cheek filter cavity sort of filled, and the mask works with something that's safe to breathe through. Oh, thank you, Kyle. Do you want to quickly give me your Discord ID? Just so I can add you to the server before I close the stream in like a minute. If not, you can add it to another video later on. But I appreciate that as well. Thank you. Oh, all right. Look, thanks again then. But yeah, anyway, I'll finish the stream now, because otherwise I'll be saying goodbye forever. I will be streaming tomorrow, but I don't know the exact time yet. But yeah, thank you, everybody. It's been quite a good fun stream with the S10 and the M65. And don't forget as well, if you're interested in merch, the S10 designs are now on Teespring. So they might not show on the bar for a day or two, but they are on the Teespring account if you actually look at them. So anybody asking for the S10 merch is on there now. Right, thanks everybody. Goodbye. It's been a great stream. See you.